a daisy.
Wow.
So just an emergency call out, just as you were watching your motor Grand GP.
I know, it's on record. So, but yeah, this is an emergency one really, and it is a horse I've worked with before. A couple of years ago, real difficult horse for trailering, and this mare really was probably one of my most difficult horses to get trailering, going in lorries and not panicking, where everyone was almost safe. You'd never guarantee complete safety with a horse this big and as explosive and expressive. But here's a couple of tiny clips of a couple of years back when I did a few sessions, only tiny clips to give you, to set the scene so you know how difficult and potentially dangerous Mara and Amy's can be. I'm just not strong enough to hold her from going out to the right. There. You got her? Of this is getting better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get her forward there. There you go. Panicaholic, a serial turner to the right. In other words, if you manage to get the horse in, it'll go to the right. Michelle, her owner, has done brilliantly. I mean, the phone call we've just had, she said she's been travelling to places, going to shows, doing whatever she wants to do, and there's been no problem. What's happened is she's took her mare. She decided to have a foal with her. She's took her mare, which fortunately isn't that far away, and loaded. Lovely to go there like she usually does now, and she won't go back on the box or trailer, whatever she's got there, I don't know. And they've been trying for ages, her partner and her. It's like escalated now. Now she's getting violent and a bit worrying really. Now I know they've been trying for a while, and so it's not going to be a 2-minute job for me this, and this will be an emergency load, and it won't be, I may have to go back and do another session for Michelle, but this will just be a get me home session, just like I did yesterday when I was at a horse auction and one of the wilder horses off the mountain wouldn't go on the box. And that was just what I needed to do in the moment, so it's very different to a normal call out really. So yeah, let's see how we get on. It's a very big horse and she can be quite opinionated, like a lot can. Now guys, we've arrived now, and I must say, you know, this was an emergency call out, so the sound isn't great, although you should be able to hear it. We didn't take our sound equipment, and Tanya didn't have a steadier for the phone either, so she had to sort of move a few times. But it's genuine, it's in the moment, and yeah, so sorry about the sound quality. So here she is. I remember her name as Mara, and I've just said now, if you look at this time, this is the Equitrex box, it's the same box. It's totally, they don't even understand why it's happened, because she's been going in great. But what I've just said is I am going to attempt a loading now where we are, but I think if things get too, I don't want to get her hurt. I think, and there is a few bits around here, so if it's not going too well, because it's been, you know, an hour and a half of a fight really.
I've just noticed, right,
Yeah.
if I zoom in,
Yeah.
do you think this is why she's a bit wary, right?
Right.
This wheel's off the floor. So is it going to rock? there. Yeah.
The wheels off the floor right there. You might have gone in and felt it down. Well done, Tanya.
Good observation.
So, basically.
So I'll zoom in again now.
Yeah, when I went in there was a rock, quite a rock through it.
They put rocks
So
in.
easily done, easily not noticed. She may have felt that, I don't know, which is another reason why we may have to go into that field in a little while. But we'll see. Right, okay.
No, we sometimes joke what Tanya misses isn't worth missing, and I was so impressed with that. So you could see then the gap underneath the wheel. Now I filled that gap with logs, made sure it was secure. I went in and it did move, and apparently when they first asked Mara to lead in, she went in with all 4 feet and then panicked and ran out, and then that was the end of it. She wasn't couldn't pull her because it'd get worse, and she was getting very, very, very angry and aggressive and worrying really, and it had gone on for a long time. That's why she rang me on a Sunday and said, please, we need to get her home. You know, I don't think there was a stable left, and she'd been there, had the work done, and it needed to be done, and it was going to be dark, and so I'm there, and all my brief, I've got to get her home, and then hopefully then, if needed, I could get her back on track, go for a full morning or something. So that's what you'll see now. But you know, it's very possible that Mara went in being such a big horse and felt the uneasiness and the drop of the wheel. And I have known that before, and then they're convinced then they've got to get out on secure ground.
Let's see. No, she was quite expressional about me last time. She was expressive with me, didn't really want anything to do with me, but we ended up at a good place.
Now, I've found this little clip of when I met her, and, you know, it was quite extraordinary, really, that she really didn't want anything to do with anyone else. You know, and I'd met her in the stable. I'd asked her to do a few things in the stable. And, you know, we came out to do some work in the school before we offered to go in the trailer. And, yeah, I had a very, very, very powerful reaction, which I'll show you a couple of clips of that now. But she's really, really, really troubled in many ways, Mara is. But she's very connected to her owner. And you'll see the difference. So I'll show you that now. Now remember, there's been accidents in the past with Mara and loading, and who knows in her past before, you know, Michelle got her. So it means a lot to this horse to, you know, feel safe and not load really, because of what going into an enclosed space and whatever has happened. It's really, really difficult, and she's learned her own strength. And now, if you try to pull her in, that's just not happening. Lunge lines, it just goes to hell and back. So there's only one option, really, with a horse like this, and that's to actually drive them in as such. So you totally change it rather than pull them in. You drive. It's like leading and driving. It's the driving side of it. But you have a look at this. This is quite a reaction to me.
A lot better, like she said.
Than she was. So what do you think that is then?
She knows.
Wow. She probably knows that she's got to go on that trailer. You know what I mean? Wow. So I'll meet her for the first time. Yeah, that's better than it was. Do you remember? Right. Now she knows I'm going to catch her. Did you see that? Thinking he's here. They don't forget nothing.
No.
She knows. We're going to talk about that now. Okay. Right. Good. Okay, right. So, let's have a look then, yeah? And I think now you said she was getting a bit staying, what was she doing? Stamping her feet?
Stamping her feet, going up, ears flat back, coming up, trying to come at me.
No, that was concerning to hear, wasn't it? I don't know if you caught that, but she got to the stage where there was no way she was going on, and the more you asked, she started to use her fight or flight instinct. She couldn't flee as such, so much as fight, so she was starting to rear, box out, pin her ears, which is very uncharacteristic for her with her owner. So yeah, I mean, that's where it was getting. I didn't really like to hear that, but you know, it can just take one little spotlight there, that where they actually do go through and will lunge forward and really bite down hard, and it's just not, or strike with their front feet as a defensive mechanism, as a last resort, to not do something that she's convinced she saves her life by not going in that box at this particular stage now.
Very, very tight mouthed.
Yeah.
And she's genuinely worried. She's not just being bloody minded. It's
No,
just,
she's
it
genuinely.
is a worry
Yeah.
for her.
And I'm sure a lot of people will know, a lot of viewers will know, a lot of horse people, even non-horsey people, will understand there what I'm doing is rewarding the slightest try and the smallest change. And that's why I keep quitting and rubbing on her.
Okay, now take her away with this. All loose now, not quite so tight.
Do you want me to go?
Yes, actually, you could do. She knows you so well, doesn't she? That's what we did, wasn't it? And I passed it you. Yeah. She might want to blast out. Well,
Yeah.
she does. She does. What I'm trying to do here is get the surroundings in her peripheral vision so she can be calm with it all by the ramp. Do you know what I mean? Just, get that so she's nice and calm, stood here. Bit of pressure on her belly.
Now you will see me quite a few times correct the head position of Mara, because she looks for ways out, and there I had to just tap her head back towards the trailer because they're the same where the ears goes, the nose goes, the toes goes, and that's the problem with her. If you allow her to think not into the trailer, then you've got problems and her toes will follow.
I've only just got here.
We'll get to this part.
Now, I mentioned earlier, you can't pull Mara. Any pull on the lead rope round a trailer, like there, look, that's the first time we kind of pull a little bit and she reacts to it straight away. Head up, starts moving back. You will not pull a horse like this in to a trailer because of all the history of her finding out she saved herself by pulling back, and she does has the strength to pull back. And there's the start of what I was expecting. Breakdown before breakthrough. Can you see the expressions there? Tail swishing, ears pinned back, head going up, saying, no, I'm getting... What it is, she's starting to believe and consider the trailer more now, which is frightening her right in her innards now. And we're going to have a breakdown, which I did expect. Now, we're about to have these breakdowns now and attempts at avoidance, which again, she's convinced she should do to save the day. It's important that I continue and only give her peace when she's on the ramp or looking into the trailer. If there's any releases, which most people would release because they haven't done as many horses as horsemen have and work with difficult horses. So this is where people can get over the head of things and make things worse because the release was for the avoidance, which again Mara's convinced she should do. So you'll see some breakdowns now and how I deal with that. And Tanya got most of it, but I had to move a couple of times.
Try and keep her head pointed in there if you can.
Yeah.
Don't pull it, just pull back.
Yeah.
Oopsie daisy.
That's it, pull her head round. Right, it's going to be a nightmare out here for her. But peace and quiet there.
Getting closer.
Well, the problem is with her, because of all her past hitting her head and stuff, if you pull her, she knows she can outstrength everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You pull her forward, it ain't going to work, you know?
Not at all. It's got to be.
So I'm quite pleased with where we were getting now. I'd sort of changed her opinion on trying to avoid left or right, but she had quite a long period here where she just stood nicely on the trailer, but she was stretched out and she kept stretching out more, and there was you couldn't pull her in to get 4 feet on the box. And this kind of thing that I'm going to do now is just the added incentive. But you've got to be experienced to do this, guys. You can get yourself kicked so hard. And I'm reading a lot of signs while I'm doing this. And it's a way that I can tickle her hocks, tap her hocks, to give a little tiny bit more incentive to find peace by putting her feet on all of her feet on the trailer, or at least 1 foot. So, you know, this is very debatable for some people. I've done thousands of these. I know I needed to just, in the emergency situation, I needed to do, because you've got to remember, on a normal call out, I would have done an hour's groundwork before I even attempted this. But Mara has met me before, and I think that's why she wasn't being aggressive with me. She knew I kind of was her alpha and could move her feet, and I didn't accept her bumping into me or didn't accept pinning her ears at me. So, yeah, guys, see, I'm just trying to say to you, don't try this at home unless you really know what you're doing. But I'm giving her a little bit of an incentive push now. We don't want to get in dark. We're right in a mess there. So I am, like, speeding this whole process up the best I know to not lose the horse and get any of us injured and get Mara home. Just let her just stay there just for a second. I'm going to come and rub on her. I'd rather have took her out, really.
Yeah, I do the
Just
same.
going to say,
Yeah.
right, you give me that. Did you?
Yeah, literally read my mind.
Now we got her to there. Now, what you witnessed there was our idea becoming her idea, and it might surprise you that I brought her back out, I backed her out, and I got the timing perfect with that. She was in there, you know, her heartbeat was raised a little bit, not too bad, and then I took her out. I relieved her of all of that atmosphere of going in there and her wondering whether it's going to tip the trailer. So I'm sure she felt it was a little bit more solid. Took her out, relieved her of the pressure, and let her just relax for a minute, and then we'll continue. You should go back up to that point, because when you're there, you're going to have a night there at home. You know what I mean? Like, try and... You've got one over there now. Don't always take time. Now, you might have heard me say there, where's the boinging stick? Well, Michelle uses our boinging sticks. She just carries it, really, and we'll put few taps of where our legs go to move a horse forward. Sometimes she'll just gently tap there for Mara to go in, rather than pull. So that's why I wanted the last 1 or 2 experiences of Mara going in with me holding the boinging stick, just like Michelle does. And that's why I asked for the boinging stick. Where's the boinging stick? Can you give me that, sir? Want to come out now? I think tip that far off the ground, the tyre was off the ground, and I think she went in and it tipped.
Oh, where's the tail? Oh, girl.
Right, hold it there then.
Is that on any book?
Yeah.
You're strong to be able to do this. Lots of trailer loading with your fold.
So that was pretty much the visit, guys. I was so pleased, which is not always the case with emergency visits, call outs. So pleased that Mara ended up walking in, chilled, relaxed. We did it a few times, which is exactly how I wanted to finish that loading session. Now, I must warn people, I've done hundreds, if not thousands of these kind of jobs, and please don't, some of that is very dangerous, and it's probably less dangerous for me. I'm touching wood here, but because I can read signs and horses kind of understand what I'm trying to get through to them. But if people start emulating that kind of thing, you can get hurt, if not worse. So please, guys, that's my disclaimer. Learn some things from the videos, but don't try and emulate some of the more extreme cases that I go to, especially like Mara here. And can I just please ask viewers to keep comments respectful, both towards me if you can, but it doesn't really matter so much about me, but especially to the horses that I work with and the owners as well, because it's policed, the comments are policed by the kids, and you just lose chance to watch the channel. So yeah, and I know there's, what do I even call them? There's keyboard trainers, some people call them Facebook and YouTube maniacs. But guys, I know people are going to say, oh, it was terrible what you did, and there's better ways than that. There's a lot of ways to do things, guys, but I am very experienced at what I do and fully believe in what I do. So please keep everything respectful. And I would say this, in the past, over the years, there's been a lot of people with opinions when I'm working horses, especially dangerous ones, and will say something, and every single time, and it has happened a few times, I've handed the lead rope over to the said ones. It's always ended up not good and embarrassing for themselves, and to a stage where I even feel sorry for these people that have thought that there's a better way and a kinder way and whatever. They have the lead rope and it all goes terribly south, and on many occasions ended up with tears and probably a situation with people watching, well, they'll never forget it, and not their confidence. So yes, guys, I know there's a lot of ways of doing this, but there's no way you would have pulled with pressure halters, and that sort of thing would not have worked, and chiffony bits would not have worked in this case. That I do know, and that's why I went it the way I, when I attacked it the way I did. So guys, yeah, I didn't, it's not a very nice thing to talk about, is it? But needs saying in this modern world of the internet. So anyway, happy trials, guys. You'll laugh at this. Tanya, not long ago, said we've had another call, someone at a show, and they're having trouble. They're trying to get the horse on now. And I did say to Tanya, tell them that if they want me to go out as an emergency, to stop trying now. So yeah, I might be off again in a minute. Hope we can film that one. Happy trials, guys.